So we want normal cotton, not darning thread, just normal cotton, like this, all right? We're definitely not going to be sewing in purple or red or blue. We're definitely going to use a pink or a peach or a cream, something that's not going to show. Actually, I meant to show you that. We do need to knot this thread. So we're going to double it up. So I've threaded the needle, all right? And then I'm going to fold it in half so that both of the ends are the same length. So I've got 2 strands of thread. All right, does that make sense?
Yep.
Now, to make your knot at the end, I'm going to get my finger. Some people lick it just to make it a bit more sticky. And I'm going to wrap the thread around my finger twice. And then I'm just going to roll it off, pull it down, and it will make a little knot at the end. Okay? So now I've got a knot. If you don't knot this, it will come straight out. Now, here we are. I've pinned the ribbons on. Okay? We're going to start here by the sole of the shoe. All right? We're going through this white thing. It's called calico. It's just a type of material. So I'm going through the calico and then I'm going through the ribbon until the knot is there, so it's not going anywhere. Okay? We just do, it's called a running stitch. So you go through the calico, through the ribbon. So this will make, don't get the drawstrings tied up. This will make like little diagonal lines. All right? They don't need to be super tiny, but you don't want them massive either. So to make it look nice and neat, we're trying to get them nice even sizes. All right? There we go, through the calico, through the ribbon. Nice, can you see we've got diagonal lines, that's attaching the ribbon on, yeah? So we go all the way up, all the way up here. And you just need to make sure that the thread pulls through all the way. So where you've got a double thread, you don't want one to pull through and not the other. Just to make sure you keep pulling it through. Right, we're going up past the pin that I've put in. We're going into this bit of material here, this peachy bit is the drawstring. Now inside is your elastic that you need to use to pull up. So on this bit, we need little fine stitches. If you go through the elastic, you'll find when you go to tighten them, they won't, because obviously it'll be stitched. So you just need to make sure that, let's go for the pin. You just go through the top bit, the peachy bit. All right? Not the whole thing, just the peachy bit in there. So I've done all of that first line. Now I'm going to turn it back so it's the right way, because now I need to sew this bit of ribbon onto the edge of here. Okay? If I sew it down there, this bit's not going to hold, and then our ribbons, it's really important for point shoes, your ribbons hold your point shoes on. So again, I'm just going through the very top of the peachy bit, and then I'm going to sew back and go through. Now I personally like to double it, so I'm going quite far up. I'm going through the ribbon, through the drawstring bit, okay, out this way, and then I'm going back to the stitch before to go back in. So I'm kind of doing so that every bit is stitched. So here's my threads come out here. I'm going to go up. I do another little stitch up here. Now everyone does it slightly differently. So if it doesn't go quite like this, it's not the end of the world. But it's really important that the ribbon is attached all the way to the top of this drawstring. Okay. Now if you've come in and you go, Miss Melissa, I've done it wrong, I can always go back and sew this bit for you. So don't panic, don't just not sew your ribbons. If I show you now, so that's that bit there. Can you see how the ribbon is really securely attached to that bit? There's no gap or anything, yeah? So I've got to the end now, so now I'm going to go back, so it's inside out, and just watch, don't poke yourself with the needles, the pins. And then we're just doing that same running stitch all the way. Make sure it's all the thing. All the way across here, look. Go through the calico, through the ribbon. You don't want to go through the satin, all right? So I'm not going through both layers. I'm literally just doing this top one, yeah? Because if you go through the satin, the stitches are just going to show on the outside of your shoe, which you don't really want. We're going all the way along. And what we'll do, if we don't get time for me to pin all the ribbons on tonight, I'll bring those shoes in tomorrow, and then I'll pin them tomorrow so that you can then take them home to sew, all right? So does this make sense?
Yeah. What happens if you just know where to pin?
No, let me pin them first, because the amount of times people pin it, you put it in the wrong place and then we have to unsew them. Which is why I now do it for you, because I'm just a lovely teacher like that. Right, so we're going all the way across the back. Now some people, it just depends on your feet, some people also need elastic on their heel. So once we get onto point, if we find your heel starts slipping off the heel of your point shoe starts slipping off your heel, there's two things we can do. One is to put rosin on, and rosin's like a dried glue. So if it's slippy, you can use it on the sole shoe, but you can just put it on here and it will just hold it onto your heel. The other thing is we can sew elastic on, but I'll show you how to do that. I never had elastic on my shoes. I never needed it, but some people do. So then I've got to the end here, I'm going to turn it back the right way, and then I've just got to finish off this top bit here, look. So I'm going through the ribbon, through the drawstring, back out, and then I'm doing that back stitch, and I go further along and back, so probably about 4 or 5 of those stitches will be enough, yeah? Alright, so again you can see, look, that's really securely, if I take the pin out, it's really secure there. And then to finish off, last little bit, turn it back inside out. And then we just do our running stitch to finish it off. Now I've got this all in one piece of thread. You might need to do a double piece of thread. It just depends on your size of your point shoe and how long piece of thread. When you do this, you do have to finish it off. You do have to knot. Because if you don't knot your cotton at the beginning, at the end, it will just unstitch. Right, it'll unravel and do it all over again. So, hold on, let me just finish this off and then you can ask a question. So, I'm doing my last stitch, all right? I've got down to the sole now. So now I need to knot it. So in order to knot it, you do a stitch, and then with the loop you've got, you just put your needle through it. And pull it down. There's a knot. Now I always double knot, just because I like to make sure we've really secured it. So I'll do the same again. I do my stitch, it makes a little loop, you go through the loop, yeah? Knot it. Let me show you one more time. So I do my stitch, I've got my loop, I go through the loop, there it is. And then you get a pair of scissors, cut it off, and that is your ribbon sewn. Right, what was the question?
I've got, how long should this thread be about?
Well, I mean, probably similar to what you do before, and then put it into half. All right, then you take your needle, your pins out, and that's your ribbons done. How long did that take, Martha?